Today we're going to be talking about a topic that impacts almost every aspect of your life.
Like, they especially think that they can't be social or they don't need to be social. Those are the people who really that really need help being social.
Starting a conversation has never been easier.
We are one of the countries that have like all these deluded people because people say,
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bros Think Big podcast. This is the show where we talk about the simple and yet complicated ideas of self-improvement. Tune in and join us as we become the best versions of ourselves just so that you guys can too. And always remember to like and subscribe for more. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that impacts almost every aspect of your life, and that's just being social. This is from building meaningful relationships or just enhancing your own personal growth. It is undeniable that learning to be social and understanding how to have good communication skills is an important factor in your day-to-day life. And if you're going to take this from anyone, I can attest this and all of us can, because we've all seen the transition of how life cleared up when we shifted from being antisocial to being social in the first place, right? So there's so much to delve into here. And I want to just talk about personal experiences and what you guys notice really made a great change when you shifted into being more social. Yeah. And personally, I've become more social as life has gone on. I don't think I've ever really been shy.
You were definitely not shy.
I can't speak to that, but what I can speak upon is me becoming more social and how drastic of a difference that is. But Josh over here, growing up, was always shy. I know you were always he was very shy.
Yeah, I said that.
He was very shy.
Yeah, when we were little kids, for example, if we wanted to play basketball and we saw two other kids and we wanted to play 2v2, it was always Sash who had to ask them. I just never wanted to ask. I was shy. Yeah, it was straight up. I felt uncomfortable.
And you're not like that anymore.
I was a little bitch.
You let your inner bitch win.
I let my inner bitch win.
So, what have you noticed, just on a grand scale, how your life has improved when you switched to being social?
I mean, more relationships. It's simple as that.
Or what was the turning point or the climax that you made?
What was the turning point? It was definitely out of high school. I mean, I wasn't necessarily shy at the end of high school, but once I finally figured out that most people only think about themselves, and same with me, that internal problem, I think almost every single time when you're shy, it's you thinking inside your head, you're overthinking it. And I was a huge overthinker when I was young, and that affected my relationships with women and with friends. And once I've kind of figured out that it's not as deep as you think it is, there's nothing scary. There's nothing for them to judge you upon. And if they do judge you, who gives a shit?
Once I kind of realize you, though.
Yeah, but we think they're judging us. Yeah. It's those self-mind games or whatever you want to call it.
People judge you, though.
No, I'm saying most of the time, people are going to forget about it.
Yeah, but people think if I come up and I'm like, do you want to play basketball? They're going to judge me. And you're scared. You're scared of that situation playing out. Even though that's not actually going to happen, but you're always, as an overthinker, you're always thinking of the worst scenario. Mm-hmm. You always thought about the worst scenario, and it was embarrassing. So the second I was like, dude, I don't care. I don't care what you think of me.
How'd you do that, though?
How'd you go about it? I said right out of high school. And because I've mentioned this previously in the podcast, but when you're in high school, at least where I was, we spend 6 years, basically, even 12 years with some of your friends. And they're basically your inner circle of who you've known your entire life. Mm-hmm. And you think that's everybody, they're so judgmental. Yeah. And there's so much drama packed in high school, and you think everybody's opinions matter. When at the end of the day, no one does, because what they're thinking about is not how you fell in the hallway at night, but they're thinking about their personal problems with whether it may be with their parents, whether it may be with their friends, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So we like to self-inflict these problems so much. Yeah. And that's, once I kind of realized, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Dude, because
it doesn't matter.
Absolutely, spot on. And my transition is, like I said earlier, I've never really been antisocial, but just like every other skill, this is something I had to build up on and practice tremendously to the point where I can actually, be where I am today, to, have the relationships that I have. And when I was shy, to a degree, I would constantly be lonely. And it's not alone at peace. It was lonely and feeling upset because I would constantly I'm a human. I've never been someone to enjoy being by myself. I always liked having company around me, like someone not to necessarily cling on to, just to have someone around to converse with or whatever, just enjoy time and share memories with a certain person, right? And when I wouldn't have that, I would feel a certain type of way, and I had to understand that I need to make a change in order for me to actually go out and about. For me to actually go and become more social, there had to be some sort of change that I had to go through. Because if I wasn't, then I'm going to have that same scenario where I'm alone at gym and it's high school and I want someone there to be talked to, want someone to talk to, but instead I stay on my phone and I scroll and I see what's going on with other people's daily lives on social media because I'm too nervous to even get myself out there in the first place. And it would suck. It would. The benefits that have came through that ever since is absolutely like unreal. Like I can like starting a conversation has never been easier. How many times have people just gone outside and I don't know, maybe you're at a crowd, maybe you're at an event, like some sort of concert, and you just wanted to converse with someone, just to like get someone's insights, just to have a conversation, just to like have someone to talk to. It's never felt easier. And that's such an important thing because anyone who wants to be a young entrepreneur, you need to learn how to network. You need to learn how to make those types of connections. And you need to learn how to be able to get yourself out there.
And it's not just the entrepreneurs.
Not at all.
It's
Not at all. But that's just like, just to niche it down. So.
I mean, I just want to mention, for fuck's sake, this podcast would not exist if we were not sociable.
Yeah, it's true, bro.
For the backstory, as brief as possible, me and Mike knew each other. We are brothers. They're brothers. But essentially, me and Sash, we all go to the same gym, except Mike.
Now he does.
Now he does.
But at the time,
but at the time. And Sadula and George are just two other people in the gym. At first, I don't know if you guys relate to this, but you kind of just look at this guy and he's like, yeah, this guy.
I think I know this guy.
Yeah,
it's that thing where it's like not a respect and
not
then
a
you
respect.
move on.
But it wasn't until one of us had to say a word, had
Props
to
to
converse.
Sizilla, shout out. Yeah.
No, shout out to you. You were the one that came up to me.
I thought you came up
and
to
the
me.
conversation was just so natural, too.
What?
I thought you came up to...
No, you asked me.
you asked about the podcast. That's what I'm talking about.
No, the very first time we met,
Yeah.
you came up to me and asked me about the lateral raises.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I don't
Georgie
remember.
came up to me, right? Because I benched. I was like, dude, you're strong as shit. Just as simple as that.
You
Just
came
saying-
up to me, told me about my buzz cut. Remember
Yeah.
that?
No, I don't.
So nobody knows. Who came
Nobody
up.
fucking
No,
talking about
I know
it.
I do. I know I do.
Yeah, no, you're right. I remember what
All
I
that
do
matters
remember
is,
that.
rather than just thinking in our heads, should we say something? We did.
Mm-hmm.
And now, 2 years later, we're here talking about this topic on a podcast with fucking...
We've had
how
so many
views
guests
we've had,
on where we've learned
guests,
so many valuable
how many-
things.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
Here we
right.
are, right?
Very insightful. Blah, blah, blah.
No, that's true. And
It's
sometimes...
a lot of blah, blah, blahs later.
yeah, true.
And sometimes all it takes is just asking somebody, "Oh, how are you doing?" or "Hey, what's your name?" or "I've seen you here." And
Mhm.
like some simple things like that can just spark a relationship and a conversation that can lead you to
Yeah.
a very close friendship.
Dude, and that's going to be one of my strategies going into like how you can actually apply being social. That's part of it.
Yeah.
So crucial. So crucial. I don't even want to bring it up yet just because like there's so much value in that.
Yeah, right.
Mike, you were a quote unquote drifter when you were younger, right? Like,
No,
I was too, bro.
I would say like when I was younger, I wasn't really used to making friends. I never really, because I really started my school career in like 4th grade. Because before that, I didn't really have many friends. I had like a couple school friends, but outside of school, I never really talked to anyone. And so when I joined 4th grade and I started living, in the suburbs around people who are super nice and super friendly, etc., I didn't really know how to make friends at all, and that kind of trickled down. And I didn't really become social until like a year and a half or 2 years ago. I didn't really become super confident and social.
Yeah.
But I think it all started when I became more confident within myself, and also realized, like Josh mentioned it, no one really cares about, like in situations, no one's gonna go home and be like, oh, he really his positioning was awkward, or he had
The
a
way he
voice
said
crack.
it.
He had a voice crack in between his sentences. I can't believe him. Like no one's doing that. Even if someone was doing that, it's like it says more about them than you. So what I've learned in conversations and when conversing with people is to just be and just let things flow. Even when like I'm talking to people, you guys know like the awkward like silence sometimes.
Yeah, right.
It's like I never get awkward anymore. I can at least sit there, look at someone, and just smile and just say nothing. And just say nothing. I don't mind being in silence. So
Yeah, and then something comes up, and then
I just think of something. But it usually if I was me a couple years ago, I would just start being like, well, what do you think? And like I'd get like
You start
awkward.
stuttering.
just to say something, right?
But now I'm just like I love the silence. I love just being in my own skin, and I feel like that's a really big part about being social, like knowing the character you are and being like logged in. You know what I mean? To like you're not overthinking. You're not in your head. You're
That's
not
a
in your own,
massive part.
You're not
bro.
in your own little world. Like it's actually like being like logged in. Like wow, like I'm present with this person.
Yeah, because what happens is when a conversation gets awkward, you can already know that, all right, that signals that very soon, most likely, this conversation is going to die out immediately. So whenever you go and try to pick up a girl, or you just want to like build a connection, someone you're networking with, and you feel that, okay, this is getting awkward, if you don't save that immediately, then the conversation is going to die out and both of you are going to just disperse, right? So you being able to be confident with your own skin or comfortable in your own skin kills that being awkward scenario, because what happens is you don't need to speak. I don't need to put on an act to like get someone to impress me. I can just be myself instead of having to force some character that's not who I am.
Exactly.
You don't need that, and then that's silence doesn't mean being awkward.
It's actually I learned this thing about awareness. A lot of people when they go through social life, they act in a way they want others to perceive them, or they act in a way according to other people. They don't act in a way that's actually them.
True to them, yeah.
They walk a certain way because this person's looking, or maybe say something because they want this person to think they're cool or something like that. That's where the inauthenticity comes in. And that's when like trying to fit in. That's when maybe it's something deep down that's bugging you. That you're doing these things because something happened in childhood, something like that.
And you feel more awkward when you do that for somebody else than what you would do if it was like, your authentic self. You know
Exactly. I spent a month this year. It was to meet one new person every single day for the month. I met 27 people in a month. I didn't get all 30 every single day because some days I just didn't even go outside. I didn't go out in public at all. And so one of the people that we had on, his name was Gar, right? One of our guests, Gar.
Exactly.
And at this point, it's like I don't really open up to people. I learned how to actually have conversations and learn to just have fun with it. Like the conversations are just here to have fun. You're not here to see who's alpha or see who's like above someone else or to gain
show
status.
dominance
Like,
necessarily.
people have conversations to gain status or to gain approval or gain this. Like don't gain. There's nothing to like. Who cares? Just be in the moment. Like who cares about this or that? Win, lose, gain status, this or that. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's really just connecting with someone on a deeper level. And so our buddy Guard that we had on, I think I told a story on the podcast we had with him.
Yeah.
But I was on the treadmill and it was nighttime and I literally was like, I need to talk to someone. And I was like kind of getting nervous and I saw Gar already. I was like, imagine if I talked to him. And I was just like, no way. I saw him in the gym. He was fucking jacked. He was big. I was like, no way. That's intimidating.
And that was the first person you talked to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so I was on a treadmill and he was on the treadmill right next to me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Now I have to talk to
And
him.
I was like overthinking it first. I was like on the treadmill. I was like, okay, well, how do I start this? What should I say? Like, okay, he's a sling. Maybe I should connect this to the slang, blah, blah, blah. And then he leaves the treadmill. I'm like, oh shit, I lost my chance, right? But then he actually went to help this lady get her phone because she left it on a bench. He went and gave it to her and he hopped back on the treadmill. And I was just like, hey man, what you did there was, I forget what I said. I was
very
like,
nice.
yeah, very nice of you. That was very nice of you what you did. And from there on, that's when we had a whole conversation and stuff like that. I got to know him. We had him on the podcast.
Exactly.
We had his friend on the podcast. And now we're getting their other friend is on the podcast. So that's where the network really expands just from simply having a conversation.
And putting
Listen to your inner bitch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah,
I almost
fuck
lost a
you.
chance, but then it came right back. So
It's a sign.
That's true.
It was a sign.
exactly. So it's simple as that. And it's like people overthink. People think like, because personally me, like I like my alone time. I like my solitude. Like in the mornings, I like doing my work alone. Like I like doing that type of stuff. I don't.
Oh yeah.
But I used to be like, oh no, I'm not gonna go out to people. Like I'm a lone wolf. I don't need anyone, right? I don't need any of that. I don't need people in my life.
I want to be the villain.
But that was just cope. That was just
teddy
me.
bear.
That was just me saying things that I actually wanted in the first place. It's almost like saying, no, I don't need money. I don't need money. Yeah,
Right.
you do need money. Like
You're
shut
just
up.
neglecting the obvious.
Yeah, you. It's like almost like you're trying to lie to yourself, but you can't. It's like you needing to say that to yourself already proves that you do already need it. I don't need a girlfriend. No, I'm good. I'm good.
You're trying to justify staying in the comfort zone, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Very interesting. Let's talk about like what it really looks like to be social, and this is like, I think most people have a general idea.
Yeah.
You just put yourself out there. It's easier for extroverts to be social or whatever, but it's important to understand.
Do people even know? Because I remember, Josh, you brought up, we talked about introvert and extrovert. I feel like this plays a huge part in being social.
Yeah, absolutely.
People, what do people really think about being introverted? You brought up like the
Yeah.
real definition of
So
what
the
it
real
really means.
definition is an extrovert actually essentially means that you gain energy when you're with others. So an introvert, when he's around with a group of people, can only be there for so long until he feels a lack of energy and he feels as if he needs to go home to recharge. An extrovert, on the other hand, is someone that only gains energy when they're in a group environment, and that when they are
but to like mostly gains energy in social situations, not only in social situations, right?
I'm confused how I put it, but
You said extrovert only gains energy in a social situation.
Thought I said not only. No, maybe. Yes, what you
Yeah.
said. Yes. And
Mostly,
it's not
you
about extrovert is this guy's going to talk to more people than an introvert. It's just a matter of energy, where you get how do you recharge your batteries. And I know for Mike, for example, like he said, he enjoys his solitude in the morning. That's when he is recharging his battery, whereas Sasha's recharging his battery when he's on Discord with his trading buddies, talking about whatever the fuck they're talking about. And I know it ain't nothing like it's supposed to.
Like I feel like with introverts, like they especially think that they can't be social or they don't need to be social. Those are the people who really that really need help being social and stuff like that. And I can relate to I don't want to be social. It's scary to even meet people. I feel like it really comes down to you not really being comfortable in your own self, and
then you're afraid to put that out there to somebody and present that
like
true
being
self.
judged and being hurt or
Yeah.
being persecuted, looked down on, whatever. You're just like afraid of like what other people are gonna think about you, and that's fair enough, right? A lot of people deal with that in this world, but the way to combat that is to really go outside the comfort zone. Realize that just because I tell myself I'm an introvert doesn't mean I can't be social. Because what Joshua just said, just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you can't talk to people. Doesn't mean
Right.
you can't have
Gain energy from social situations.
Exactly. For me personally, it's like sometimes like when I'm with you guys, like I feel good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But in some certain social situations, I get drained from it, right? Which is fine, right? It's good to be aware of that. But that doesn't stop me from also being social and learning from other people, connecting with other people. It doesn't matter, right?
Right.
So.
But not locking yourself in a box and saying, okay, this is how I am, and if I'm in that situation, I'm not gonna go in that environment just because I don't feel comfortable being in there, because that's locking yourself in.
Yeah.
Because it could be something to do with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to like work on that, like not just you, but everybody in general.
Yeah. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What personally helped me was I was also like what Josh was saying, because I remember when we would go play soccer, Sadul would be the one like going to people and ask them if they wanted to play with us, right? I mean I would too, but like it was mostly Sadula, right? And I think I kind of broke out of this shell when I started going to the gym and I started like meeting new people and stuff. And like I would start it off simply, you know what I mean? I wouldn't like have a long conversation. I would just first be like say what's up, you know what I mean? Then you would go to like what are you hitting, you know, all this kind of stuff. Then I would learn to communicate with people in a way that wouldn't make me awkward. So first I would just say what's up, or I would just shake their hand, and I kind of got comfortable with that. And then I just started like talking to them longer and stuff. So it was just that's what helped me out. Like you don't have to really think a complicated way. When I go to somebody, I need to talk to them for like 5 minutes or whatever. Just
Yeah,
small
right.
conversations.
Yeah, break
Yeah,
it down into
step by
smaller
step.
steps.
You know, I want to emphasize a huge point, which is embrace your weirdness. We are all weird as human beings,
Oh yeah.
and there is nothing wrong with that. And the true test to this is I didn't talk to this girl, right? I haven't talked to her. I saw her in Florida, as in like I just met her. She's an extremely social person, very nice person, and then we just kind of reply to each other's Instagram stories every once and then, saying how are you and everything. Then eventually
Right.
Ashley, and then she says, "Let's get on a call to talk about mentality." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Awesome. I haven't talked to. Keep in mind, I haven't talked to this woman like actually in over a year. The first thing when we get on the call is I go, "What's up?" I'm not kidding, and there is nothing wrong with that. You know, people think, "Oh, they might think I'm weird." Good, because that's what makes you a human being. You guys of all people know that I make weird noises all the time. Yes.
Why do you do
Of course.
that?
It's who I am. I enjoy it, and I'm weird for it, and to your standards. But to me,
I didn't
that's
say you're weird.
I know, but other people think it's weird, so I shouldn't do it. And other people,
He called
other
himself
places.
weird.
But I'm just
He's
being.
not himself weird.
Yeah.
I'm just being who I am. In society standards, I'm weird, but I'm being who I am,
Yeah.
and I fucking love it.
Exactly.
And don't be scared to show that side of yourself. You know, they know I got names for fucking.
But
fruit.
sometimes he helps. You know,
What?
being like saying that. What's up? You know what I
Dude,
mean?
it's
He
awesome
opens up
because
like
I'm
the
me.
energy.
I'm being me.
And
Fun,
just
yeah.
saying, somebody calls you
Oh,
on
yeah.
FaceTime, you go like, hey, how
Yeah.
you doing?
Hey,
Just
how
say,
you
what's
doing?
up? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Rather than it being like, oh, so how you been?
Just say,
What's
what's up?
up?
Energy is just one thing, but another, like on a psychological perspective, when you're not afraid to show your quote unquote weird, it signals to the other person that you're okay with being comfortable around them.
Yeah.
That weirdness
broke the
shows
barrier.
comfort.
You
Exactly.
broke the barrier.
Yeah, so that shows, all right, there's a little bit of security, there's a little bit of trust behind this
Opening up.
person. Exactly. Yeah. So it's really strong in that sense. It builds a stronger relationship.
Yeah.
But also what you said is so beautiful because, and like you said, everyone is weird. It's just a matter of who's willing to show it and who's not. And the same thing I told Cole with the whole porn thing. Like he mentioned, everybody goes through it, and he said it's embarrassing to talk about it. I don't think so at all. I think it's a, like not even like a one of
It's
those
courageous,
Yeah, I don't think it's.
too.
I'm not trying to sound like one of those corny. You're brave for not being for being a victim.
I don't
or
think he said it's embarrassing to talk about.
You're
it.
brave for not
He
being
said
a
it's
victim.
embarrassing, and I told him, I'm like,
He
there's
said
nothing.
for other people it's embarrassing, but for him, he doesn't think it's embarrassing because if anything, he said it's good to be talked about.
No.
He said
He
used
said
to.
it's embarrassing, and I told him I don't think there's anything embarrassing about that at all,
Oh, really?
because
I
everybody
don't remember like that.
I remember
has gone
you
through
said
that. So what is embarrassing about it if you go out and you are actually willing to speak about that? That's not embarrassing, dude. That's brave. Props to you. Thank you for being the one that actually takes a step forward and is willing to speak up on the fucking manner of the problem that's in front of us, right?
And
There's
somebody's
nothing-
got to,
yeah.
you know, there are people that have probably similar story, even worse story, but they're so afraid to speak that,
Exactly.
but they're still going through it.
Exactly.
That means they're locked in a shell, and what Cole's doing, technically, is him sharing that story gives that person more freedom to share their story. That's one of the things
It
that happens in a
empowers other
therapy room,
individuals.
too.
It inspires and empowers whatever
Exactly.
you want to throw. It brings more people, builds a little community around that,
Exactly.
and says, "Yeah, let's tackle the problem head on," right? And it's the same thing that applies with this whole being weird thing.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, everybody is weird. Once you can get past like not being afraid to show it, which comes through being comfortable in your own skin. Like Josh is very comfortable in your own skin. That's the only reason. That is the only reason he goes out and does this shit, dude. Like, we'll be at fucking dinner, and he makes a noise of a cow. Like, what the fuck? Who does that? In my eyes, you're fucking weird. Like, I'll tell you right now, in my eyes, you're fucking weird, but you're you. And that's okay, right? You're always going to be weird to somebody else. People define weird on whether or not it fits their standards or society's norms. So who gives a fuck about
Just
that
because they
person?
don't do it.
Yeah,
you
because
think
they
it's weird.
don't sympathize with it. That's bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Who are you to say that's weird because I don't align with that, and neither does society?
Because you know what's crazy? If Josh, for example, was sitting in the restaurant and he made that noise, somebody would have said he's weird, right? But even if he didn't, somebody would still probably be like, "Yo, that guy's weird because he's eating weird." So either way, people are always gonna think something.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
it's like-
Everyone's
you're
always
always
going to
gonna
find
find a way to.
Exactly.
I
So
don't
you
care
should-
what
yeah.
you think of me, boy.
Well, what about the
care what you think about me. You know why?
Like we're talking about weirdness, right?
Right.
So let's keep it weird, right? What about the
Let's keep it freaky.
What about the people who
No.
think they're animals?
Ah, shit.
Oh,
Are they being,
Furies.
Are
Are we
they
talking
being
about Furies?
authentic? Is that just them being truly who they are?
Now, yes. Look. It depends. There's some weirdness that is
Furries,
actually
that's what I'm
exactly.
talking about.
Like there's some weirdness that people just need to like analyze this stuff. You can't just be like, okay, I'm being myself, therefore I can just go and do
Anything I want.
things like anything I want in public, because there's also ethics and stuff like that matter in environment.
standards.
At least how I was raised. You know what I mean? So I think there's a level to it, and it doesn't really mean that you get to go and just really walk on your hands and stuff in public and just claim to be something that.
I'm a scorpion, guys.
Like I feel
I
like
don't-
with people like that who, I feel like there's something missing there with them being like, I'm a
For-
cat.
For some people,
I'm
I
a
feel like
cat
it's
now,
also like the
right?
type of people you're talking about. How I can imagine is also the insecurity of trying to, grab some kind of attention,
Over-exaggerate, yeah.
and
right?
also get attention from people just to validate themselves that somebody's paying attention to them. And these type of stuff can lead to like bad things like school shooting and stuff. Some kids do that to be on the news and boom, out of nowhere they're recognized because of how much trauma they have and how lonely they get to the point where they are willing to do extreme as going up and shooting up a school, as bad as it sounds, to get their name out there. But that's the worst way to get your name out. You know what I mean? Do something good and get your name out there like that. But that's I would say that's an unhealthy thinking from
It's
my
like,
perspective.
We're talking about being social. We're talking about how to be social and stuff like that. It also comes down to being yourself. How do you be yourself? Where's the line and the barrier between what does it really mean to be you and authentic? Does that mean, oh, like, I like being, like, fat. Like, I like being in my own, like, you do you. Like, go you. Like, you're doing okay. It's like, I don't, like, I feel like going
You can't push it too
route,
much, in my opinion.
You can't really, I feel like going towards that route of,
That's a physical attribute.
you think? Because you know what I'm getting at, right?
Is a
Like,
physical
we
attribute.
talked about,
I know what
being-
essentially
adding
what you're
weirdness, right?
saying, but I think being you is all about your character. Not you're not being you by being fat because that's a physical attribute. That's a matter of action.
But that's also you, no?
I am who,
'Cause
I-
that
that's
is-
who I am.
That is
No.
who you, like, it's your physical
No, no,
attribute.
But when you're saying being authentic, that doesn't mean I'm being authentic by being fat. And I'm confused here.
People,
What are you
I'm
trying to
comfortable being who I am,
yeah.
type of thing.
It's like,
And I don't
we're
care
talking about
who-
being comfortable in your
what
own skin.
the other
For
person's
some
thinking.
people, they think they're dogs. They think they're cats. They think,
Okay.
you know what I mean? These sort of things. So it's like, what
But
do we
is
do?
being authentic is that the same as being comfortable with your skin?
Here's what I have to say about this
Well,
whole.
of course. Because you're
Um,
authentic to who you think you are.
People take it literally. That's what it is, I think.
I
They
think
take it
being
very
comfortable and being
Because I'm
authentic
saying,
are very similar, but still different. No.
Sasha, what were you going to say?
Yes.
My idea with this whole thing of like being weird and when it actually becomes a problem is if your actions go and reflect onto somebody else's life in a negative manner. So if I go out and I just start brutally beating the fuck out of people, that's a weird thing to do. And there's no because
That's
I'm
just
going.
evil.
Yeah, it's evil and it's weird, right? Because in my eyes, you're inflicting harm on somebody else unjustifiably for no like. There's just nothing good about that.
Right.
But if you want to go out and you want to do your thing and not bother anybody else, like these furries, right? Let's talk about like the normal furry or the person that thinks they're a cat or whatever. Like in my eyes, yeah, that's pretty fucking weird. I think what Josh does at dinner is also pretty fucking weird.
It
But
also
that's
can
just-
disturb somebody.
But and that's just my opinion. If you don't like it, suck a dick. That's fine. But at
Why'd
the
you
end
have
of the
to-
day,
that's
at the
not
end of the
happening.
day, who am I to judge how somebody else is to go about their day if they're not
Yeah.
inflicting any harm on someone else? I believe that if you think you're a cat and you're not a cat, you're a human, you're pretty fucking weird. But at the end of the day, who am I to judge what you think you are? And for me to go out and just say things like you shouldn't do this, that feels a little hypocritical to what we're saying in the first place, because we're telling people to go and be themselves. And if someone truly feels like that's who they are, great. And I'm actually in respect.
Are we still on the same topic with Kat?
Yeah. And if that's who you think you are, I mean, I can tell you that's not who you are. But if that's who you want to be,
Dude,
whatever.
The
But
fact
no,
that
no, no,
we
no,
have to
listen,
like, discuss
if
this
people
and
start
talk
thinking
about
like
it.
that,
I want to do this.
Crazy.
I want to approach this without being canceled. The thing is, if that's who
Who
you
gives
think
a
you
fuck
are.
about getting
But
canceled?
I-
it's nothing
listen,
against furs. We're letting
No.
just be
I'm
authentic.
on their
Discuss
side. I'm on their side in the sense because props to them for being able to go out and express their true self. What I just talked about.
You see, that's the thing. You think they can be their true self by being a cat?
I don't think so. I think
Biologically
I think they
speaking,
lack
no.
confidence.
There has
No.
to be standards.
Biologically speaking,
So,
you cannot.
but that's
be,
how
right?
we define things through biology.
Well, through
When it
being
comes
your
to-
your
If you're
character.
biologically a man,
Being yourself is following your character. Your character isn't defined by who you are biologically. It's defined by the things you find interest in and what you.
Well,
resonate
biology
with.
also ties
Well,
into
what
it.
if
It ties into
You
it,
can't
yeah, like,
eliminate it.
biologically, I'm a man, so I may find more appeal to the NFL than a woman, right? But the idea is that your character is who you are and what you resonate with, what you find interest in. And if I find interest, or if I resonate with being a cat, I can tell you that you're not a cat, but that's okay. Dude, you want
here's
to go and
the
be a
question
cat?
mark on
That's
this
fine. Because
puzzle,
my
right?
idea is, if it doesn't affect me or anybody else, who gives a shit?
Well, when
You
you
said
say
that.
But it
it's
is affecting
fine,
people, right?
what do you
Because,
mean
know,
by it's fine?
Because people
As in,
start
I have
driving-
no problem
People
with
start going crazy.
It's fine to
because-
me that I have no problem with it, because if you aren't like forcing, like I know a lot of people have the notion that like the furries force things on kids or something, and of course there are a couple bad apples in a bunch. There's bad apples in every bunch.
Right.
Not all have to be classified like that. So again, I don't care. You can go and be whatever the fuck you want. Like people who think I'm being weird for being like energetic or whatever. There's no difference in me thinking they're being weird for being a cat. The thing is, we're both going and we're expressing our true selves. And I have no judgment to anybody that goes out and is willing to actually be able to express their authentic self. You think that's right for you? Good.
Bro.
I don't care. I don't. If that's really who you are or what you want to be, and you've heard other people try to tell you different, but you don't resonate with any of it, that's just who you are, I don't care.
What if your authentic self is, you're like, I'm not hurting anybody, you're not hurting anybody. You go into public and you just don't care about anything and you start peeing in the middle of the street. You know what I mean? That's your authentic self.
Yeah, that's weird. No, that's weird. In my eyes, that's weird, and I will judge because that's public indecency, and there is harm being inflicted on others.
They're not showing their dick. They're just peeing like in the corner, but it's still weird, right?
Yeah.
But then they can say, I'm authentic self. You know what I mean? Like, this is who I am. See, what I'm trying to say with this example is like, I don't know, if people start like literally taking this and saying, I'm comfortable with this, I'm just gonna do it because I know I'm not gonna get judged, and if I'm comfortable, that means I can do it. People are gonna go crazy, bro. I'm telling you, because I think, and as I remember, it first started saying, identify as they were men and identify as a woman. Then he was like, my pronouns are this and that, and then he was like, I'm a cat now, I'm a wolf, and they started making the noises. They're like, I'm a cat now, meow, and stuff like that.
Is Josh gonna turn into a cow one day? I don't know.
So what I'm trying to say here is
Definitely
because
not
it started with little thing as it's not that big of a deal. Then it went to animals. I don't know. God knows what it's gonna go to. So that's why I'm saying, like, I don't think
We gotta have some kind of. I think it's good to have standards. How about that?
Standards, yeah.
I agree, but
we have to
what I have to
have
say to
standards.
Can
that,
I matter just one question? Isn't it
You just interrupted him, bro.
little weird that there's not a single other animal, and humans are animals. At the end of the day, we are defined as an animal. There's not a single
not,
other
buddy.
animal that identifies as any other animal. You have never seen it once in your life a hippopotamus decide to be a rhino. So just something about that
Listen.
fact that
Yeah.
something. I am totally on your boat. I think you expressed that very well, which is at the end of the day, you shouldn't let other people bother you. And I think that was essentially your message, which is for some people, they're going to be bothered when they see a Fury. And for you, they're not. And that is essentially what you want in life. You don't want to be bothered by what other people do. And that's a fantastic thing.
The thing is with that, people can stretch that. People can go really long ways with that. And be like, yeah, I shouldn't let other people do it. I can just do whatever I
We
want
lose
now.
morals with
Who
that. I
cares?
just feel like, dude, we do.
Here's-
I can literally
At the
say
end
I'm
of the day,
my
he'll be the
authentic
happier man because he doesn't care.
here's what I think. Like again,
Is it about
He'll
being
be more
happy?
at peace.
Here's the thing,
He's
bro.
going to be at peace. You can't be
how
at
do you know
peace
that?
if you judge others.
Let me
But if
say
you can't
something.
connect
If you
anyone,
think
then
I'm judging
what?
those people that are doing those kind of stuff, I'm not. Because I am not judging anybody. I'm not the person to judge.
what, furries?
No. Like people that are like, saying I'm okay. No, I'm not judging them. All I'm saying is that's weird.
Uh-huh.
Me being my authentic self, like, just saying, I don't care if I just mess up something when
Yeah.
I'm doing a presentation. That's me being my authentic self. But me saying I'm a cat, that's weird, bro. And I'm
That's
not judging
judgment.
anybody.
That's judgment.
Yeah,
It's
that-
not, I'm just-
no, that is
What's
judgment.
wrong with if you
Yeah.
judge somebody with a good heart?
Here's
If you
the
do
thing.
something wrong in
but
the street and I
judging-
tell you, hey,
judging
dude,
is so-
that's wrong. That's not judging in a way that's hypocritical necessarily. You're really trying to show somebody
what
that
I'm
what
trying to
they're
say is,
doing
like,
is
I'm
wrong.
not- I'm
Listen,
not,
And
like,
if everybody says you do you,
judging
man,
them like
and-
negatively, I'm not.
and then we
I'm
go
just saying
to-
what I think.
we become those people that are just almost tolerant to everything. It's gonna be chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just gonna do what they want, and then that's authentic to me. If that's authentic to me, and that's why in America we see this type of stuff a lot accelerate to like max compared to any other countries. We are one of the countries that have like all these deluded people because people say you do you, queen. If you feel that way, be that way. Who's to tell you that?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have morals. We don't have standards. We don't have a core foundation on what's right, wrong. People forgot it almost. We were the country once where we had all those things. America is a very Judeo-Christian value-made country. The laws and stuff that exist in this country are coming from a very strong foundation of right, wrong, moral ethics. but people forgot it. People turned away from it, and that's why you see all these changes
That's where it
going
started
to
from.
radical left.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
You know, me and you could be real to ourselves. Like, what I'm trying to say by real is, you know, when I'm saying I'm my authentic self, I'm not actually like, I'm being real. But then people can just, say random things. I can be like, yo, I'm my authentic self, and I can just start becoming really, like, out of control. Then are you really being authentic, or are you just being weird?
Okay.
That's where it gets tricky, you know what I mean?
So let me just say this. There is a huge problem to saying you do you, because that's why I agree with what you said. There has to be a boundary to these types of things, right? It's like I can't, like if I just go out and fucking, again, I'm going to use a really extreme example so that we can also, I go out and I just start killing people. Saying you do you is not okay. Because you're inflicting harm onto other people.
Yeah, be like, I'm violent person.
That's why it makes you
Start
happy,
killing people,
bro.
Exactly.
But you
That's
see,
the
that's a
problem.
physical harm. What if it's a psychological harm? Like somebody, dude, I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody going out on the street, a woman dressed as a cat or painted, and you don't necessarily see the physical part clearly, but it's still out there. That's a psychological pressure to a kid, if you ask me.
Okay.
And it's also a spiritual
Yeah.
problem with people too. So it's not just the physical. Those type of stuff may not necessarily harm somebody, which some people get it wrong. If it's not physical, you're not doing anything wrong. No, there's a psychological aspect to it, mental and spiritual too. So that's what I'm trying to say. People sometimes neglect that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Let me address that in a second. The reason why there needs to be boundaries is so that you can't just go doing whatever you want and inflicting harm.
There needs
onto
order
other
to
people.
chaos.
Exactly. Like there
that's
has
what
to
we
be
were
something
getting
to
to.
stabilize it. You can't just go out and inflict harm on other people and say it is what it is because I'm being myself. That's a completely different story. But if a furry walks in the costume on the side of the street in downtown and they're doing their thing, they're going shopping in stores, they're not forcing themselves onto anything, then that's fine. Now, if a kid sees that, I see what you're saying with the whole idea of, oh, my kid sees that.
Now they're confused.
Yeah, now the kid does this.
Mama, am I a cat?
Well, psychological harm can be applied to anything. So if your kid sees that and you're strongly against it, then it is your responsibility to go out and teach the kid differently.
Right.
Okay? Unless that furry goes out and they start telling the kid, be like me directly or whatever, or they start screaming out in the streets, be like me, disturbing people, then that goes against what I'm saying because you're inflicting some sort of harm there. But if they're doing whatever they want to do and they're just going, getting groceries and they want to go home and enjoy a movie or whatever, that's not causing harm to anybody else. If that causes harm, psychological harm to you, your perspective, or your kid, then it's one, your responsibility to teach your kids separately or differently, and it's your responsibility to teach yourself differently and say, listen, I don't resonate with this, so I have to go in it and I have to view it in a different manner.
You meet those kind of people everywhere.
Yeah, dude, like I know why everyone says like they force it upon my kids or whatever, and I've seen it happen before, but not all of them do it. Like I said, there's bad apples in every single bunch.
For sure.
Right? So then those people that are breaking the barrier, the you do you barrier by inflicting harm, that's a completely different story. But my belief is if you're doing your own thing, you're not messing with anybody else, and you're just being you, who is to judge who you are?
Well said.
Let's go back to the apple in the bunch, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we have a basket of apples.
Okay.
One apple is moldy.
Yeah. It starts molding.
Can the good apples, all these good apples surrounding the moldy apple, make the moldy apple good again?
Well, my question is why does being a furry have to be?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you said there's always
There's
that
a
bad
bad-
fruit in
yeah.
the bunch.
Well, that's
I'm not
just
saying furry. I'm not saying that. Just an example. Right?
Yeah.
If we're
But
gonna use it.
isn't furry like the bad apple in this case?
Yeah, pretty much.
All
That
right.
can infect
Yeah.
the other ones.
Right.
That's what we're trying to say here.
Okay.
So, no, regardless, like that the bad fruit is gonna infect the other fruit around it. Like regardless, you know what I mean? So it's like the reason this has anything to do with being social is because the social game can be chaotic.
Yeah.
People are so confused out there. Even someone watching, like, what does it really mean? Because when we say just be yourself, be your authentic self. The reason I bring this whole topic up is because people are confused. Because people don't really know. They don't have the awareness that, okay, what does it really mean to be me? Like, how do I even do that? How do I even go about that? So what were you gonna say?
So let's pretend like in this scenario, the furry being bad is the apple, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm just going to go along with that in the first place. If that's how the apple is, it's moldy, right? It can't change that. That's already happened to it. It's a physical thing, and it's going to stay like that. However, for as long as it possibly will, unless someone else goes and personally cuts it out, right? That apple will indeed infect the other apples with the mold, especially if they're touching. Which is why I said it's your responsibility to go out and protect yourself. In this scenario, the apples around that mold need to move away from it so they don't catch onto that. And you do that through teaching your kids whatever I was just saying, how, listen, you shouldn't resonate with this or whatever, like you want to put it. If the apple cannot change, which it's already moldy, they can't go back. You can't go back in time. You can't reverse that. You have to separate yourselves and not catch that. So why this is interesting to me is because this apple that is itself, right? And once it's moldy, is pushed away from the other apples and it's just doing its thing and it's not infecting the other ones, is there a problem? That apple may be moldy.
What if
and
the
it's
apple
gone.
can't move himself?
But the apple's
move by
disconnected
itself.
now.
But in this scenario, you can't.
Or like even you in general, like sometimes there are parents that really want to teach their kids that, but the problem is already too strong that to the point where their explanation already doesn't matter because the kid's already harmed by it.
Okay, so
Like, looking at it so much and it's like almost everywhere they go, and so like what happens then?
So if that apple is moldy, and let's say the apples move away, but then that apple keeps following and getting mold on the other ones, then that's breaking the barrier of inflicting harm because that apple is personally going out and trying to get the other ones moldy, right?
But that's
They're
the
not.
thing, though.
They're not. I'm giving you a different example. It's like your kid everywhere they go, even in school, even out with their friends. Their parents are not always going to be with them, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere they go, they see that. They see that. They're dressed like that, and they're like they're not telling them anything, but they see a group of people, each other. They're talking in like meow meow. They're not even talking in real language. Now this guy goes everywhere, and he gets to the point where whatever their parents obviously teaching him, this is not real or whatever. But the problem is already too strong to the point where the kid's already getting affected by those bad apples. And what happens then?
So
How do we go about that?
using the apples, let's say I'm an apple and I'm the perfectly good one, and all the other ones now I'm the weird apple in the bunch. I'm perfectly good, and all the other ones are moldy. Like in this scenario you're saying, I still have the choice to take myself out of that bunch and not resonate with the moldy ones.
Yeah, also
Realistically-
depending how old you are. When you're little, you really don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that as a kid you're easily influenced over others. You
I'm
absolutely
talking about
are.
kids. I'm not talking about like adults.
Yeah, but even in the same scenario, the kid growing up, if that's what they want to resonate with, and they're not gonna put harm onto anything else, whatever. But also, if that kid is
Why,
in the,
why would any kid, like realistically speaking, why would any kid want to resonate being a cat, bro? I don't understand. Why would a human being want to resonate with a cat? Like realistically speaking, like I don't understand this kind of thing. Like why would a kid want that, bro?
and
We
I
don't
wait,
know.
and I don't either,
Bro,
I don't either.
It could be
That's
this could be
because-
delusion, bro.
that's-
It could
that's
be
because-
a
that's
mental
because of-
illness.
that's because the society is
Normalizing.
No, but listen.
normalizing
It's like-
those kind of
I
things.
think
We already
you should talk to
sensitized to this
someone.
type of behavior now.
Talk to
They
someone
should-
who
Wait,
identifies
no,
as a cat,
no.
and then you'll
Oh,
know
me?
the answer. Yeah.
You're right.
Oh, they're just gonna be like, I don't
Georgie,
know, I'm just a cat. You know what I mean?
Georgie,
I'm
that's
not afraid to ask a furry why you
Yeah,
think that
ask.
you are the way
ask
you
him by
are.
all means,
Yeah,
but that's
before-
I would love to, but I'm just
Well,
gonna
now you're
say
judging
my opinion.
now. You're
I'm not
judging.
judging. There's no.
You were-
What
no,
is it?
No, but you're
No,
saying
no,
they're
I
gonna
just
say
think
meow meow.
And you don't?
No, I'm not saying that. But you said they're
This
gonna
is
go
Everybody-
meow
you
meow.
do
I
realize
just feel
everybody
like I just
judges.
feel like they wouldn't be able to.
It's
do
not
this.
right for us
It's
to
not
any of
wrong
us
to
here
judge.
to say,
It's not wrong
oh,
to
like,
judge.
oh, then you're judging.
Bro, can I
We
not
all
like?
judge,
Can I
but
not talk then? Like I'm saying my opinion.
But let me
That's
let me
not
say
judging.
this.
No, but
Me
you just said
saying my
you
opinion
won't
is
be
not
able to
judging.
talk to them.
I said I would talk to them, but what I'm saying.
Georgie, your opinion
I'm
is
pretty
you
sure-
judging. My
I'm
opinion
pretty
is
sure
that
they
Josh
would
is
say-
ugly. That's me being judgmental. In your
I don't see-
scenario,
I don't
in
see
your
it like
in your
that, bro.
scenario, being afraid.
It's
But
not-
here's the
I
thing:
don't see it like
you
that.
don't resonate with people being like wanting to be a cat, and I don't.
Bro,
either.
if you ask me,
no
like,
one here does.
Georgie, what do you think
No
about
one-
this? Like, what are you setting me up to then call me you're judging, or like what is that?
Your
Because you
opinion is
asked
a
me my
judgmental-
opinion, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That means you're setting me up, then to call me.
I'm not
that I'm
setting you
judging?
up to say you're judgmental. I'm setting you up to understand where I'm coming from in this.
No.
And in this scenario,
Well-
where the idea is that we can't resonate with being a cat,
Look, Josh
that's
asked
why
me,
to us it's weird. That's the whole
look,
point of this.
Josh asked me, you can go talk to them, and I said I would love to. Then I said, but I think this is what they would tell me. How is that judging? It's not.
I didn't hear about that. I thought you were talking. You were.
If
I'm
I'm
saying
saying
you
I
were
would
judging
go talk
because
to them,
you're
how is that
talking
me
about-
being what I'm saying is, listen, I would go talk to them. Well, I'm just saying my opinion that I think they wouldn't give me a solid reason to justify their what's it called actions. That's what I'm gonna say.
But
That's not judging.
Using
You know,
your opinion
just-
isn't a good testification.
Because then
for
you
this.
can't.
Because
Then
I say
you can never
That's
use your
the
opinion
thing.
because then you can always turn it around and say
That's being
I'm
it
being
very
is
judgmental.
judgment. I do. I think
Nah, bro,
I think your
we're-
shirt is
we're-
ugly.
We're abusing the word judgment.
You think all Furies go meow meow if they identify?
They
as-
probably do. But listen.
Well,
Listen.
not all
Me,
of them,
me and
but
Mike had
some-
we had a Fury in our class.
Fury.
Yeah,
Georgie,
that's what
some,
they did.
some
I
even
think-
worse.
I think
Josh.
what- how you're
They
sitting
do
right now
worse.
is
They
weird.
do worse.
They didn't talk meow meow. They
The
were
towel?
talking
Was
human.
the tail?
Yes, they had a tail. They were talking like human
They do
beings.
some-
They
they
don't
do
go
worse,
meow
bro.
meow, because you can't actually articulate anything saying meow meow to somebody.
dude, with all respect, I do not give a fuck what a furry does with
I
their
know.
between meow meow.
You're judging.
What I will, your every opinion, Georgie. I think the way you're sitting
I
right
don't
now
want to
is
abuse
weird.
the word judgment like that, bro.
It's every opinion we
I
have. To
mean,
a degree
I don't wanna
is a
abuse the
judgment.
word.
I don't like.
I don't want to abuse the word
Of,
opinion.
mm-hmm.
Judge like that it's a judgment. I don't want to abuse the word opinion as a judgment because opinion is not a judgment.
Georgie,
Here's
Georgie,
also
that's
another
not
thing.
true.
Personally, like if somebody just like comes up to you and says, "Oh, you're judging," first I'm gonna ask that person why they're so against judging, because I actually don't think anything is really wrong with judging itself. Judging is something that almost should happen in order for me to be able to express myself, to tell you this is
Bingo.
what I think.
Bingo.
That's judging right there. Him saying
Yes.
you sitting wrong or yo you sitting like that is weird. That's judging him. But then I think a
I know,
more
I
rational
understand,
conversation
but
would be
in
he
this
asks me,
case, how am I
why do
judging?
you
Can
think
you
this
explain
is
that?
what?
How am I judging in this?
Because
in this case?
because every opinion you have is a judgmental. I hate the way you're
Oh,
sitting,
is it?
but I love your hair. That's me like being judgmental in the court of law. The judge that decides whether or not they're free or whatever.
Just don't use the word. I don't know.
It doesn't have to have a negative connotation behind it though. That's
But
what I'm
people
trying
have
to say.
put it that way. That's probably why
yeah,
you're.
because most
saying
people when they say they're
it's not
judging
bad,
you,
I
they're
swear.
judging it bad
For
way.
me, I swear it's not.
I like Sadula's hair. My judgment is that it's good.
I like yours, man.
Hey, see, and then we
Yeah.
resonate. That's some sort of middle ground, whatever.
But it's also good, like, not even just judging, making observations is okay. Like, not even labeling the
Exactly,
observation as
dude.
good or bad. This
But
person,
where would
this
we
person's
be
a
if we
cat.
didn't make
and then, like,
observations?
most of the time we will judge it, though. I'm not saying that, right?
I don't know.
Most of the time I'm not saying, oh, you shouldn't
We're going
say
too
it's
far
right or
with this,
wrong. I mean, yeah, you should, right? But, when it comes to just
We can also put a
observations,
positivity on
okay,
that
this
word,
person
bitch.
does this,
Not
this
gonna
person
lie.
does this, and
You
you're
can
asking
also
yourself
put
in your
a
head,
positivity
why?
on
You're
the
just making an
judgment and
observation,
negativity.
Uh-huh.
right? Not judging it right
It
away.
doesn't
People
always
judge
mean
things
bad.
right away. They judge
And
it
judging
good or
does-
bad,
judging
boom,
doesn't
right in
always
the
mean good,
category.
right?
They do.
But no, wait a second.
So let's
Let's
just
go
go
into
into
what do you
the
mean
wrong
wrong with
because
They do.
There's nothing wrong with
There's
judging.
nothing wrong
Every
with
time
judging.
They judge it right
Oh,
away.
okay, and that's
So let's
wrong.
go
Okay,
curse
yeah,
because
sorry,
you're
I
saying
misunderstood.
Go deeper.
I thought you were saying they don't do
Just
that.
be an
I
observer.
love somebody. That's why I'm cursing at them. Let's just go like that, man. I'm just saying it's gonna take us really far, man. It really does.
But you see,
I mean, I don't know. You
the
can go
reason-
out in the world just say judgment, but I'm pretty sure most people are gonna take it negatively because the word itself, judgment. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not-
It
dude.
has a negative
Connotation
it has
behind
a
it, you're
neg-
right.
has a-
Like,
has a
well, who are
negative
you to
mark.
judge me, right?
And if we put it in a way that judgment is also a good thing, then world can just go really far by calling each other curse words because they're gonna be like, I mean it positively, and maybe they do, right? But then it can go really far.
The difference is that a curse word.
I'm just saying,
when
this
when I call you a slur, or it's a swear word, there is no. It's a slur for a reason. It's a swear word for a reason. There is no positive.
I'm saying
Connotation
people can
behind
put a positivity, just like how you guys are saying, I'm
Then
judging
they're
somebody,
illiterate, or
that
they
means
don't understand.
That's a good thing, Like the way I'm taking it is, I'm not judging anybody. In this case, what we're talking about, I'm not judging anybody. If
Mhm.
we were talking about something else, I would admit that I'm judging them. But in this case, I'm
Mhm.
not. So I don't want to say I'm judging them, even though I'm not. Like I don't know.
Mhm.
When I'm gonna judge somebody, then I'll be honest and say. Then it comes down to trust. I mean, do
But
guys
you
trust my word?
judge almost every single I'm judging my room right now because I don't like the way that bed is placed, or I'm judging this couch right now because I vacuumed it and it didn't pick up well enough. Even though that's everything my fault, right? Like judging doesn't have to just be on a person. I can judge an orange because I don't like the way it smells or whatever, right? We're steering away from the topic, but the grand scheme, what I was getting at originally is there has to be a barrier, like Sadula said, between you do you, and my barrier is if it reflects harm on other people. And if you actively are going out and you're doing it and you're committing public indecency, or if you're peeing on corners, which is like, what's trespassing on public property or whatever, you're causing harm on someone else's property, like all those barriers still get affected. That's why we have laws set in society which say, that's why the the justice system is a thing in the first place, so that you can't just go fucking kill someone, so that you can't just go steal and shoplift whatever store you see at. That's the barrier.
Great, that's your bear. Now, before anyone argues, because I think we all have different barriers here. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We're 5 different human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Great. Now, what challenges or what tricks do you have under your sleeve when it comes to becoming sociable? Because I know, Sash,
Okay.
you said
You have
something.
So I'm gonna start off with this one. The most important thing to, like, when you're looking to become social, you have to understand why you're not in the first place. And my belief is that it's a fear of rejection. You're scared that the conversation isn't going to go so well, or you're scared that the person you're trying to network with is going to flop and they're going to have a bad connotation of you. It's going to be a bad first impression or whatever, right? It's that fear of rejection. So one thing that I personally did to combat that is I went and I did this ask for 3 free things 100 times challenge. And Josh, I've talked about this before, where I would literally just ask a cashier, hey, can I get this for free? And I would hear them tell me no. And every time they did, I hear the no, and there's a psychological aspect behind that because I'm already getting used to being rejected to the point where it's not a problem to me. And what is the loss in that? Like, I got a free cookie with Josh one time, and Josh took it.
He
I'm
did.
like, hey, can I get this cookie for free? Yeah. No, most of the times, I did it like, I didn't do 100 times. I think I did it like 20, maybe even 30, right? And that was the only time I actually did it. I went
Did you get
one.
rejected the most times?
Yeah, that was the only time I actually got something right. 1 through 30, 1 through 20. But that's the point. The point is that you're constantly hearing yourself say no. That way you understand that, listen, I don't have to take this personally. They're just being them, whatever. And that way I'm not afraid to go into the next conversation fearing rejection, fearing that it goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another challenge I have is this relates to public speaking, but also this can be converted into every single aspect of your life. And that's whenever you go and you're looking at someone and you think, damn, this guy looks well fashioned. I want to come up to him and I want to talk to him so I can build that network, build that connection. Or, oh my God, this girl is so pretty. Let me go talk to her. Your mind is going to start to play tricks on you, and it's going to say, it's going to be that salesman that knows all of your weak points the best. And it's going to say, no, I'm a little nervous. What if it goes wrong, right? Or maybe what if she doesn't like me the way I am? Or maybe this guy who's I want to have a solid connection with isn't right. I can recognize that I'm becoming nervous. I can recognize that my energy is being shifted in a negative manner. So what if I could trick my mind into saying, instead of being nervous and scared and anxious about that conversation, what if I tell myself I'm excited for it? What if I tell myself I'm looking forward to this conversation because I have nothing to lose? Worst case scenario, they don't want to be my fucking friend. They don't want to be my connection. The girl thinks I'm ugly. I don't care. I trick my brain by being excited for it. And this is the most effective way for like public speakers. If you're having trouble with like public speaker, instead of going, or if you're taking a test, instead of being nervous to trick your brain, be like, fuck yes, become hyped, become pumped for it. Be like, this is an opportunity for me to learn. This is an opportunity for me to grow. And I'm going to take advantage of that. So that's my second thing. It's tricking your brain into thinking the good thing instead of the bad. My third thing is what Sadula mentioned. How it can be a simple conversation. Just saying, hey, how are you?
Oh, that was me.
Oh, yeah. So my fault. Just doing that.
Yeah.
Instead, like that works just as well. How I used to do it is I would just give a random compliment. And I've seen this on the internet everywhere, and I love it. I just say, hey, dude, nice shirt. Or, listen, oh, wow, nice shoes, bro. I
Nice
say,
cock.
I'm going to sit in silence.
Continue.
If I say,
It's a compliment.
He's being his authentic self, guys.
he is,
Right?
Yeah, and he's weird for it, but
That's a
fuck it, he's in,
compliment.
right?
Is that not a compliment?
It is a compliment.
Is
There we go.
Great.
You're the one that's making
If I
the-
come up to him and I'm going to say, hey, dude, I love your hairstyle. We're going to, like, just something
You're
nice.
saying the weird thing though.
What? What's weird about it?
He's making it weird. Okay. Yeah.
Are you out of your fucking mind? The idea is, regardless, when I go out and I give a compliment, understanding psychology, compliments are not meant to be taken in like a negative manner. So when someone hears something good about themselves, they're not going to be like, ew, what the fuck? They're going to be like, oh, thanks, man. And more often than not, what I discovered is they give you a compliment back. That's a great confidence booster right there. Going out and just giving nice, simple compliments, little ones. Nice hair, dude. Oh, bro, that shirt is so tough. You were supposed to dab me up. Oh, bro, that shirt is so tough, man. Oh, bro, like you're watching that game? I love that shit, too. Literally, what? Well, that's not a compliment. That's a great game. I love that. Whatever, like, little things like that matter so much because people love hearing it. And why that's important for you is because it's getting yourself out there and you're saying, damn, like, I can really go out and talk to these people. Just as simple as that. So what if every conversation I ever like, if I'm ever nervous and I want to start a conversation, just start by giving them a compliment. Nobody's gonna react in a negative manner to that. What? You like my fucking shirt? Are you an idiot? Like,
Yeah.
except for this guy who denies the compliment.
I don't do that as often as you think.
I'm playing.
But dude, I've noticed since you said that, I noticed other people doing that as well.
Deflecting.
Yeah, deflecting
Uh-huh.
and doing that type of stuff.
And
You
no,
became
I'm-
like so aware of it too,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Does
I'm
it piss
so
you
aware of
off?
it. No. It doesn't.
Good for you.
But I just get curious. It doesn't piss me off
Mm.
though. I wouldn't let it. I wouldn't take it personally.
That's true.
I don't let other people bother me like that, Josh.
Well said. Wise. Oh yeah, that's the one of the
Funny guy.
easiest ways.
I
Because
don't let other
Funny
people get
guy.
to me like you do.
that's one of the easiest
So
ways
funny guy.
just to have like give someone a compliment. Because let's say the other person's in a rush or they don't have time to talk to you or they don't even want to. That's fine. They're just gonna say, "Oh, thanks, man. You too," and then you just walk away. All you lost absolutely nothing. Instead, you gained putting a smile on somebody's face and receiving one back. So
Exactly.
But Sash, what if I lose aura?
how are you gonna lose aura in this situation? The person doesn't give you a compliment back. That's the other person losing aura, not
that's
you,
fucking
dude.
funny.
If I give someone a compliment and they're like, "Ugh,
That's
am I
like
really the
day
one that
and age,
lost
bro.
aura?" No, dude, it's them. Like you're, in my opinion,
Right.
you're the asshole in this scenario. So, fuck that. Like I don't care.
You gained aura,
Sash,
bro.
if you're
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
first person to speak, obviously
Ugh.
you lost aura,
Oh.
dude.
Oh,
You know that.
the aura thing. Okay.
If they don't give you the compliment first, that means you're the beta.
I can't. I'm done.
According
But-
to who?
yeah.
Josh?
So obviously the Sigma professor.
Those
Dude, that's
three
credible.
strategies. Quick little recap. Just go around complimenting people. Use energy to transmute the nervous or anxious feeling into becoming excited, being pumped, being hyped for the opportunity to grow in whatever scenario. And then I forget what my first one was.
Jesus. Well, let me chime in here. I want to chime in, just a little tip. I don't know if you guys can resonate, but I damn sure think you guys can.
was
Which
excitement.
is
It was like taking it to excitement and switching
That
the
was
roles,
my second one.
tricking your mind.
That was my second one that I just
Oh, really?
mentioned. And then the fucking compliment and then fear of rejection one. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Josh.
99% of the problem is just the first second. Like, as soon as you say the first word in the compliment, the problem's gone.
So it's just about breaking that barrier.
It's just about breaking that barrier. It literally is. For me,
Yeah,
you guys
that's
have
true.
public speak. Remember, we did a presentation at me and Sasha's school,
Mhm.
and that one I was absolutely not nervous. But there have been presentations where I am nervous.
Mhm.
No doubt about it, even to this day. Just something that I'm not very accustomed to, and it still gets me. And all I found is after the first 10 seconds of speaking, it all goes away.
Mhm.
All goes away. So if you know that 99% of the problem is just the first 10 seconds, that's all 99% of your focus should be, is just conquering that one issue.
I feel like when I started making content too, like the first video or first piece of content I ever posted, I was so nervous. Like, oh my gosh, like I felt like before I even uploaded it, I was just like so like swirled up in my stomach, anxiety. Like I was like, oh my god, what are people gonna think? Blah 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 blah. I started like getting in my head and overthinking it, but it's like 10 months later, I've been posted over 100 pieces of content now. It's like it's just I just do it. It's just I don't even think about other
It's
people.
natural to do.
I don't think about other people anymore, like doing content. Like when you guys have posted content, like you guys have your own stuff. Like, did you feel nervous like posting your videos?
Yeah, and then the thing about that is when you realized how much how you didn't really have to be nervous at all, because it's like Josh said, I like how he said it, it's really the barrier that like gets in your head rather than like what's actually happening in the moment. Because as soon as you start doing it, you're in the flow, but until then, that's when the battle starts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mental battle, and then everything else is just already you doing the work. Like, for me personally, when I started, knocking on doors and offering my service and stuff, it was the barrier of what I would say, how I would say it, how people would react, what if I got rejected. That was the barrier I had to overcome. And then the next barrier was how I could go about, improving what I said to the first customer, then to the second, the third, something for me to change up. Like, it was already in the process what I was changing up. But before that, it was a battle that I had to win to even get started. Because I'm telling you, dude, there was a time where like me and Ruslan were hesitating so much to even go and knock on the door. It's like, yo, let's get it down. Like, what are we even gonna say? Like, what's gonna happen? All that kind of stuff. But then, like, I just had to be like, what's the point of me being here and doing this when I'm gonna get rejected regardless? Like, there's no way there's not gonna be that one person that just says no. Like, no chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I felt so confident and so comfortable with knocking on doors because it's like you're comfortable with somebody saying no to you. Like the worst case scenario, somebody just said no.
Yeah.
That is the worst. Literally. And my thinking was totally different. It was like, maybe somebody laughs at you. Maybe somebody just literally slams the door at you. But the chances of that happening was very unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
There was some people every now and then just closing the door in your face, but very, very unlikely. Most of it, respectfully, no. And there was a lot of good things that came to it as well. They were just like, guys, keep on doing this. I may not need it at the moment. I'll definitely contact you if anything in the future. So, sometimes we make it worse in our heads than it really is for the most part.
Sometimes,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's every time.
Yeah.
It's every time.
And like I said, dude, your mind is the best salesman because it knows all your weak points. And I love what you said because that's the whole reason of why I like my strategy of just asking for free shit. You're going to hear no often. And then the same way with you in the doors, after you hear so much, it just becomes natural. There's nothing wrong with it. On to the next one, right?
Yeah.
So there's just so many things. And I love that in your scenarios, it's just putting the reps in because at the end of the day, being social is a skill. Yes, it comes more naturally to others, just like every other skill, but it's still a skill that you need to harden, you need to work on. You need to put in the reps, and that's exactly what you did with your video. Personally, I didn't feel nervous putting about my first video.
Exactly.
I can't say the same. I don't know if I'd be able to say the same thing though if we didn't do a podcast that we already had like 50 episodes before I actually went to post on my channel, right? It was through the repetition where that nerve was killed. So that's why at the end of the day you need to like tune this skill.
For sure.
As the great slogan by Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
And honestly, that slogan actually helps me. I don't know. Some people think it's like a cringy thing to say. It's Nike's, but it has helped.
Because the dude, I think
It
it's
genuinely
because
just
they think of
does
the dude.
help.
Just do it.
What's his name? David
Shia LaBeouf.
Fuck. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf.
Like saying that word before something I'm nervous has worked before.
For sure.
Multiple times.
Yeah, it gets you in the state of mind. Where
It really does. But again, that just works for me personally. And for somebody else, you have a different slang. But everyone has inside a slang that resonates to them. You know it deep down. Just find it, use it.
Yeah. And I think another like important thing that I want to also share what happened during that experience was you gotta have a positive mindset on like facing rejection, because I don't know, this is how I felt. No matter how I prepared myself when it happened, it's hard to not let that affect you. You know what I mean? Like rejection isn't something easy to face. It gets to you. So like I had to, make it fun. I had to just like laugh about somebody saying no. I had to take that positively somehow. I had to tell myself, yeah, they just simply didn't want my service. They probably didn't even want the car detailed. I had to tell myself positive things to get my mind off of somebody rejecting me because of me. Because I did something so terrible that I was the problem. Like, I wasn't the problem. Even though I could do something to work towards that, sure. But to say that you're the central problem only is how you can get in your own head and not even be able to go and approach any doors at all. Like, you can literally traumatize yourself from a rejection as well. So it's a very, very that you do something about keeping your mind in a positive state for sure.
I love that.
Because whether you want it or not, it gets to you. It just does.
Yeah,
It's a very hard thing, especially when you start doing it
Absolutely.
for the first time.
I feel like it's really important to mention that a lot of people, when they look at rejection and they face it, they take it so personally.
Yeah,
Where in your scenario, once someone slams the door on you or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to take it personally. They're just not interested. Maybe they're in a hurry, or maybe they have better things to do, and that's okay. What are you gonna fucking force them? No, you don't have to take anything so personally, to the point where it becomes unhealthy and it steers you away from going out and being social.
Exactly.
So that's really important to mention.
Because that's another skill. Literally going up to somebody random, especially at
Absolutely.
their own house,
Absolutely.
knocking on their door, and they
Yeah.
open up the door and you're trying to sell them something. And I'll be honest, there was some times where their sign said no soliciting. So I was like, wait, what if
Really?
they called the police because I'm here soliciting and all that kind of stuff? That's not really what happened at all. So that's another challenge you put yourself against. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's something.
gives you more confidence. Extra XP
Literally.
for another quest.
Exactly.
level up. Fuck, I
Yeah.
had something so great to say off of what you just said that slipped my mind.
But it's
Positive mindset, something with a fear. What else did I say?
let him,
Not your
let
personal
him-
thing.
It'll probably come in like a
Let
couple
him do
minutes.
his thing. Let him do his thing. But as he's thinking, any final words? I mean, I think this just wraps a good, like, it's like a present. You know, we're putting the ribbons up. We're getting to the, little bow tie of the quote of the day and the shout out.
Yeah.
And Sash, do you have any recall? If
I
you think
mean-
of it, just say.
Yeah, if I think of what I said, but as far as the conclusion goes, my key points would just be to find the barrier, find the skill to be able to break the barrier, like what you guys were talking about. Try to implement the strategies that I mentioned earlier, and understand that this is a skill that you're gonna have to consistently work on, because, like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, this plays a role in damn near every single aspect of your life.
Here's a good
So-
emphasis. There are skills like sales which apply to certain scenarios. Being social applies to every single scenario. Every single scenario with another human being.
Yes, it does.
Let me reiterate that.
Mhm.
Well,
It
not when you're
absolutely
going
does.
to bed.
Because everyone you're not social to is just a missed opportunity.
Exactly.
Especially if you want it to be. Let me put it like that.
Yeah. And it also helps with just growing as a person in terms of your knowledge, because everybody has something to offer. Everybody has something to tell you that is so different from your own thinking, that makes you think, and that, teaches you something that you didn't know. Like our guests, right?
Mhm.
Like ever since we started the podcast, it began from our friend group, how different we are and how we help each other grow. And I've noticed that I've been growing so fast during the past year because of being around you guys, having the podcast, and just living the lifestyle that I am living compared to the other years that I reflected on. So, every guest that comes on and talks about their own experience, you see a different picture about the same topic. Like somebody talks about their weight loss, somebody talks about their fitness journey. You see the same occurring topic, which is fitness journey, but it's so different. It shows you different different perspectives to things, and it opens up your mind to be more creative, and opens up your mind to be more open to learning in general, and makes you be more fascinated about, okay, what does this person have to say, and just approaching somebody that even is your friend and just saying, hey, do you want to come on the podcast? Because your close friend or somebody telling you no to come on your podcast can also have an effect of you thinking, oh, is my podcast bad? Do they not want to, partake in something that I do? So it's like you're working through so many skills all at once by just literally putting yourself out there and just doing it.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Same thing. Fuck.
Just do it.
It's okay. Just do it. Love it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Anyways, quote of the fucking day.
Society is like a large piece of frozen water, and skating, well, is the great art of social life. And me and George were actually talking about this because I want to see how you guys decipher what she's trying to say. Who wants to give it a stab?
Oh, give me a second. And chime in, guys, if
Yeah.
I need a second.
I'll tell you how I interpret
Don't
it.
shut up.
Water and skating well is the great art of social life. Well, it says skating well on a frozen ice is a great art of social life. So, when you're comfortable skating on that ice, well, you're doing something you're doing something authentic to yourself, comfortable, you're doing it well. This helps you with your social life and gets you the connections that what you would rather not experience if you didn't do it in the first place. So
I would guess.
Also-
I would guess you have to move place. Skating is all about moving. So frozen water as in the land we live in, so in this example, America. And skating well is just making sure you go different places, because if you just stay in your own house, you can't meet new people.
Yeah, that's a good way. So, Mike, you want to give us that?
Yeah, I mean, the great art of social life. I mean, society is like a large piece of frozen water. I just think when I read this, I think of just like a block of ice, and like you're the sculptor. How great do you want your social life to be? Do you want it to be pristine, nice, and sharp, or do you want it to be like all chaotic, or do you want it to be lopsided, like however you want it? I see it as a sculptor. I don't know why it says skating.
Yeah.
But that's just how I interpret it.
Obviously have the wrong answer, bro.
I'll tell you guys how.
That's your opinion.
Are you judging? Wait, is he judging?
Yeah, he is actually.
And that's your opinion.
I'll tell you guys how I deciphered it to Georgie.
Here, talking to this.
This one. Okay, yeah, I'll tell you guys how I broke it down to Georgie, and obviously referring to ice skating. If you want to ice skate in the first place, you need a foundation, and that's that large piece of water. So what she's trying to say is that society is your foundation to being social. If you want to be able to skate in the first place, you need people to talk to, and that's where you find society. So if you want to actually go out and do it well, you can't be afraid to go and interact with the people that consist in that society, because that's the foundation.
Because how are you going to skate without an ice, right?
Exactly. So
yeah,
that's the way I saw. I realized I put a comma when I was announcing it in the first place where it did not belong.
Wait, where does the comma go?
No, I thought there was a comma behind well, but it's just skating well. So I'm gonna, that's my fault, but that only makes it clear what I'm trying to say.
Nice.
I think you're pretty wrong too.
Thank you, Josh. Who wants to read the shout out?
Wait, did we see the other? We did,
You were
Oh,
Elizabeth.
but this was
Landon,
by
got it.
Elizabeth
Yeah,
Landon.
Elizabeth Landon.
Mike, you got it. Mike.
Dallas Stefan 2979. Me and my sister are the only ones living left in a family of 7. I've been living my life like that for over 30 years, and I still have some regrets about not being there enough for the ones I love. And the reason this is one of our comments on.
Did we reply?
No, we didn't. But this is
I thought I did.
this is one of our comments that we got from we had an episode with Danny talking about death meditation, right? Talking about how thinking about a family member dying.
Meditate, yeah.
It furthers your relationship by you being grateful for them, appreciating them. So to respond to Dallas Stefan, right? That's a terrible thing. I'm sorry that you went through that. Family leaving you is like one of the worst things possible, especially if you were really close to them. But instead of like regretting, stick with the ones that you have, and don't regret. Do what you would have done with the person you have now, with the people who are not with you anymore, and don't waste this opportunity that you have with this one person that you have left. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, keep on take this as a lesson and to move on with a greater opportunity for you to grow stronger with them, rather than having to regret it later on when some time also passes and saying, oh, I should have done something about it instead of regretting it. So that would be another regret on top of it. So
yeah, that's all I would say.
I love it.
I'm sure they're happy watching you down. Don't beat yourself up. Pass the
Thank you for the comment.
Yeah.
Today
Beautiful
is
comment, honestly.
Master Uruguay. Just listen to Master Uruguay. Master Uruguay is the true master of life, yes.
Yo.
You need a sensei?
I love it.
Master Uruguay is first.
And with that,
Think
big, grow big.
Like and subscribe.